If you've ever played chicken game, you already know the dilemma. The first tile is safe, so is the second. The payout is climbing, your balance looks good, and suddenly, the thought hits you. What if I just go one more step? But the longer you stay in, the higher the risk that the next tile explodes in your face, wiping out the entire run. Cashing out feels safe. Continuing feels greedy. And between those two choices is where most players lose. What makes this game so effective is that it hides its mathematics behind a cartoonish theme. Unlike roulette or blackjack, you don't see wheels spinning or cards being dealt. All you see is a chicken dodging mines. But under the surface, it's the same core principle as every high-risk game in online casinos. The house always wins in the long run. So the only way to survive, let alone profit, is to learn how to control your timing and recognize when to stop. The first thing most beginners misunderstand is how the grid actually works. Before each round, you set the number of bombs. The more bombs you add, the higher the potential payout for every safe tile you uncover. But here's the catch. The higher the reward, the lower your chance of survival. A board with just 1 or 2 bombs gives you more room to maneuver, but the multipliers will barely move. A board filled with bombs can shoot your payout up quickly, but the odds of lasting even 2 moves are brutally low. It's this balancing act between risk and reward that defines the entire strategy of the chicken game. Think of it like climbing a ladder. Every step you take increases your view, but also increases the risk of falling. If you climb too high, the fall is devastating. If you stop too early, you miss out on the bigger reward. The smartest players aren't the ones who climb recklessly, but the ones who know exactly how many steps to take before locking in their gains. One strategy that many players adopt is the 2-step rule. Start with a moderate number of bombs, say 5 or 6, pick 2 tiles, then immediately cash out. Why 2? Because it's just enough to boost the payout into something meaningful, while still keeping the odds in your favor. This isn't about winning big every time. It's about stacking consistent smaller wins that don't drain your balance. Over multiple rounds, those small gains add up far more reliably than going for one giant payout and crashing out early. But consistency is easier said than done, because the moment you see that multiplier climbing, greed starts whispering in your ear. What if the third tile is safe? What if you're walking away from double or even triple your stake? The truth is, sometimes it is safe. Sometimes you really could have gone further. And that's exactly what keeps people locked into the game for hours. The regret of cashing out too early fuels the desire to go deeper next time, and that's when the game punishes you. If you've ever noticed, the most devastating losses don't come from hitting a bomb early. They come from players who were already ahead, people who had profits sitting in front of them but pushed too far. That's why experienced gamblers always say, the hardest part of the chicken game isn't finding safe tiles. It's knowing when to stop. Another popular method is the ladder climb. This involves starting small, with only 1 or 2 bombs, and slowly increasing the number of bombs as you build up winnings. The idea is to use the safer boards to grow your balance, then risk some of those profits on riskier boards with higher payouts. It's a slower grind, but it reduces the chances of wiping out your entire balance in a single reckless round. Think of it like training wheels. You build confidence and discipline before stepping into higher volatility. Of course, no system can change the underlying math. This is still a game of probability, and the house edge ensures that over time, most players will lose. But where strategy matters is in the short-term decisions. If you know how to manage your bankroll, if you set limits for yourself, and if you resist the temptation to chase losses, you can tilt the odds just enough in your favor to walk away with profit. The biggest trap players fall into isn't just greed, it's tilt. After a loss, the instinct is to go back in immediately, often with a bigger bet, to win back what you just lost. But in a game like chicken, this is a death spiral. Every click is a fresh probability event. The game doesn't owe you a safe tile just because you hit a bomb last round. Chasing your losses almost always leads to hitting another bomb, and another, until your balance is gone. The players who survive are the ones who treat every round as independent, never letting emotion dictate their choices. Another layer to consider is bankroll division. Instead of throwing your entire balance into one risky round, break it down into smaller bets. This gives you more rounds to play, more chances to hit safe streaks, and less risk of going broke on a single mistake. The longer you stay in the game with controlled bets, the more opportunities you have to walk away ahead. And here's where the discipline factor comes in. Some players actually set predetermined exit points before they even start. For example, if I double my balance, I'll stop for the day. Or, if I lose 3 rounds in a row, I'll log off. It sounds simple, but these rules are what separate casual gamblers who burn out quickly from disciplined players who keep their winnings intact. The game is designed to make you stay, to lure you into clicking again. The only way to resist is to set limits in advance and stick to them. Psychologically, the chicken game thrives on what's called the near-miss effect. When you uncover several safe tiles and then hit a bomb, the loss feels like you were just about to win big. That almost sensation tricks your brain into thinking you're closer to success than you really are. It's the same mechanism behind slot machines showing 2 jackpot symbols and a third just above the pay line. The near miss fuels the desire to keep playing, even though mathematically, the odds haven't shifted in your favor at all. To play smarter, you need to recognize when the game is manipulating your emotions. Every time you feel that urge to just go one more round, stop and ask yourself, am I following my strategy, or am I reacting to the near miss? The players who learn to separate emotion from strategy are the ones who cash out more often. Now, let's talk about patterns, or rather, the illusion of patterns. Many players swear by methods like corner picks or zigzag strategies, convinced that certain areas of the grid are less likely to hide bombs. The truth? It doesn't matter. The tiles are randomized every round. Believing in patterns is just another way the game tricks you into taking unnecessary risks. The only patterns that matter are in your behavior, whether you're disciplined enough to stick to your limits. At the end of the day, winning the chicken game isn't about lucking into the perfect board. It's about surviving longer than the players who burn themselves out. It's about steady gains, smart exits, and resisting the psychological traps designed to drain your balance. And yes, you'll never win every round. Sometimes you'll cash out early and regret it. Sometimes you'll push too far and hit a bomb. But over time, the players who know when to stop are the ones who leave with money still in their account. So the next time you open the chicken game and stare at that grid of tiles, remember this. The most dangerous move isn't clicking on a bomb. It's ignoring your own limits. Play with discipline, manage your risk, and learn when to walk away. That's how you keep from crashing out too early. And if you want more guides like this, deep dives into the strategies, psychology, and hidden mechanics behind games like Chicken, Aviator, and Plinko, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep creating content that gives you an edge, and it ensures you won't miss the next strategy breakdown that could save your bankroll.